root 5, rationalizing denominators and numerators of radical expressions. Next thing we want to do is basically divide some radicals. Now, when you're dividing, we don't really say divide. What we say is we're going to write two numbers that are being divided in a fraction or as a rational expression. But really, when you see something like 3 over square root 5, really what this means is 3 divided by square root 5. Right? That's really what that means. So, instead of saying we're going to divide these, what we're going to say is we're going to rationalize the denominator. Right? Now, when you rationalize the denominator, your goal is to not have a radical in your denominator. There are many reasons that we don't want radicals in our denominators. One of the main reasons I can think of is if you had to add together two things that look like this, it would be kind of hard to find an LCD if there was a square root 5 in your denominator. Okay, so this is one of the main reasons I can think of why we wouldn't want a square root in our denominator. We want it to be a pretty whole number. So we want to get rid of the radical in the denominator, but it's okay to have a radical in the numerator. So those of you who have done this before, anybody want to tell me what you think I should do to make it so the radical in the denominator goes away? Great idea. So, Aman's idea was to multiply numerator and denominator by the same thing, which is great. And her idea was to multiply numerator and denominator by square root 5, which, by the way, is exactly what is already in the denominator. And this is a great technique, okay? If your denominator has a square root of 5, you're going to want to multiply your denominator by the exact same thing, and of course be fair to your fraction, and do the same thing to the numerator. So why does this help? Well, what is square root 5 times square root 5? That's equal to 5. Let's talk about why that's equal to 5. First, let me just write the numerator. That's 3 root 5. Why is square root 5 times square root 5 equal to 5? Well, that's equal to square root of 25, which equals 5. That's one reason that square root 5 times square root 5 equals 5. It's also equal to square root 5 squared, which we talked about earlier today, that the square root and the square cancel. Right? So I can see why multiplying square root 5 by square root 5 will make the radical go away. Like I said, there's still a radical in the numerator, but that's okay. At least we don't have a radical in the denominator anymore. And this would be our final answer, 3 root 5 over 5. We've rationalized the denominator. And have we divided? Not really. All we've really done is just written it in a different form, but it's sort of like division, right? And we've rationalized the denominator. So, important rule, square root x times square root x equals x. Technically, it equals the absolute value of x, but we're going to assume our variables are positive. Okay?